Welcome to another episode of Laserbird Academy. So this lesson is all about color theory. So color models, how color is made, and how color literally changes people's moods. We're actually going to start by talking about the two main color modes, RGB and CMYK. RGB stands for red, green, and blue. You can actually add the colors together in order to get other colors. If we add red, green together, it's actually going to create yellow. And then if we add red and blue together, we get magenta. And then if we add red, green, and blue all together, they're going to add up to create white light. And then if you add green and blue together, you get cyan. RGB is a light-based system, and it's known as additive because the various colors will combine to add light. And we use this with monitors, phones, LED billboards, and so forth. Basically anything that is light emitting and produces colors, we are using RGB. Here is a microscopic view of an LCD monitor. So as you can see, there's a grid, and each one of these squares, which is made up of red, green, and blue, is actually a pixel. The way that monitors produce various colors is they'll actually dim the lights of the other colors. So in this case, we get red. And then if we want green, we just dim the blue and the red. And if we want blue, we dim the green and the red. And it works the same way with LED billboards, except just much bigger. So each pixel has 3 different colored LEDs, red, green, and blue, and each one of those LEDs is shining at a different brightness in order to get millions of different colors. So now we're going to talk about CMYK, which stands for cyan, magenta, yellow, and key. So in the same way, we can combine different colors just like we did in RGB to get various colors in the spectrum. So we're going to start by combining cyan and magenta to get blue. Then we're going to combine cyan and yellow to get green. And then finally, if we add all 3 together, we get black. And then we're going to go back and combine magenta and yellow in order to get red. CMYK is an ink-based color system, so if you've ever dealt with replacing the ink cartridges or the toner on a printer, you'll notice that there are 4 different colored inks, and those are cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. Now you might be wondering, why is it K instead of B? So K is for key, and it's added to the black since CMY on their own aren't actually dark enough. And we use the letter K for black instead of B since B is already used for blue in the RGB model. And it's known as a subtractive model because as you add them together, they actually subtract light. So it's used for books, printers, newspapers, magazines, and so forth. So if you look really, really closely using a microscope at print materials, you will see all these dots. And if you look at each dot, you'll notice they're magenta, yellow, cyan, and black. And you might notice that in some cases it looks a little more green or a little more red, and that's where those colors are overlapping. If we look even closer, this is how the ink looks under a microscope.